Photographers, I'm back. I got some positive feedback from the two videos that I did, and I decided that I'd do a third one. And so this is all real life stuff. This here are my final steps that I do in Lightroom before I deliver to the client. So I've already culled this. I've already done, the first phase of retouch, and then this will be the final before I reorder the images and rename them, and then export them to JPEG, and then upload them to my website and send the client a link to be able to download their images. So yeah, so pretty much I'll try to go through this as quickly as I can. And what I do is, for my final step, I select the job. Here's the job. It was actually a 4-day event with a bunch of different events that went on, from shooting at the headquarters to activities like surfing, golfing, hiking, and a baseball game at Petco Park. So anyway, what I do is I just start off here with the first image, and then I use the arrows on my keyboard to move over, move down, and over to the right-hand side here. You see this quick develop, and then basically you have your exposure, contrast, highlights, shadows, whites, blacks, clarity, vibrance, and you can just do a quick little fine tune to these images. So I'll start here. This looks all right. Sky's a little bright, so I might take the highlights down couple, and then bring the shadows up and pop a little contrast in to compensate for that flatness. This guy's looking a little red. I'll take a little red out of him. And as you'll see, I'll just go through these really quickly. And, they're pretty much looking where I want them to look. So you can just press the down arrow, and it just goes down on the rows like this. I'm just looking for any images that might stick out, that don't look properly exposed. This was a white overcast day. I wish there was some blue sky here, but with blue sky you also have direct sunshine, which can pose different types of issues. So I did have nice lighting, but I have that boring white sky in most of them. And here it starts to turn black, so lighting changes. This is the big group shot I did, standing up on a ladder. And this was actually shot for Adidas here in Carlsbad, California. Okay. This was actually pretty hard to show here because of all the ambient lighting. I really had to focus on letting in as much ambient light as possible to see the actual room, but not let the ambient light overtake, because as you can see, we have greens, red, blues, all types of lights that we're playing in. So kind of found a perfect balance of my flash and the ambient light. And you'll see this goes into an actual fashion show, and in the fashion show itself, I actually turned my flash off and I just shot with the ambient light itself. These two right here are little yellow to me, so what you can do is select both of them, and over here, if I go over to the temperature, I'll bring the temperature down. That should give it a little bit cooler of effect, and it's applying it to the two images that I selected. And that's what I like about quick develop, is you can just highlight, 6 images in a row, and then just hit that one button, and it will apply that to all of the images selected. These look a little green to me and bright, so I'll go in highlights, I'll bring the highlights down, and I'll put a little red into the image. And maybe let's bring color temperature down. Those look good. I'll bring exposure down one too. There we go. All right, let's get through this. Okay, this is the fashion show I was talking about. So as you can see, I pretty much turned the flash off and I let the ambient light take over. And you can see it was kind of hit or miss depending on where this model walked down the runway. This model here has a bright blue light on her face, but I still included it because it was a funny moment. And then you'll see here, I actually put my flash back on and I'm balancing the light. This one's a little bright. Take that down. This one's a little bright. This one's a little dark. And, you know, it's a little dark in the background, and those midtones, so what I'll do is bring back those shadows, and it'll give a little more detail of what's going on back there. Again, with this one, I'll bring those details up as well. And then I move to the back of the stage, kind of do some more silhouette-type shots. And those were all just ambient light. And then I added a flash for these kids coming through. And then I did some group shots here. Looking good. And then they went out into breakouts of all their different products they offer, their apparel, their shoes, their hats. Really nice shoes coming to us in 2019, by the way. I am photographing, but I also am listening in and looking at all the cool new products. Oh, these are a little dark. Oh, see, you just kind of, it's nice to do this final pass because you kind of sometimes get in a groove and you can get a little sloppy and you're moving through quickly and you can get into a funky groove for a little bit where you just start not seeing it. And this is the step where you kind of catch those images. So here we are at the ballpark. You know, one thing I like to do is if I look at an image, I look at this histogram and kind of check out and try to make sure that I have a good exposure. This one you can see is a little, you know, on the darker side, so I could pop this up and bring that middle. That looks a little better. And then here we are at the ballpark, and they're having a good time. Let's see, all right, we're going down. All right, these are looking good. You know, these are a little too red-orange, so I highlighted these 4. I'll go down cooler and take a little red out. A little red out of this one. All right, here we go. All right. These are looking great. Keep it going, keep it going. And you can see, I actually had another shooter shoot these Padre game shots, and you can see they look total different look, and that's because that's shot on a Nikon versus a Canon. And I also was dealing with warm tones in my environment, like this bar shot here. But I tell you, if you do a lot of retouching and you're, retouching your images and your second shooter is a Canon shooter, they are completely different, and you kind of have to learn or adjust your editing style between the two. All right, here we go. This was a pub crawl in Encinitas. This is probably the most fun shoot I've ever done in my life. We were at First Street Bar, which is kind of considered maybe at most an upscale dive bar in downtown Encinitas. But yeah, they had a really good time. They actually did some awards, took over the stage and handed out some awards. And then we went over on this hike to Torrey Pines, did a group shot, followed a group on a hike, and we had a naturalist with us explaining all the splendors of nature. And on my way back, guess what I see? Bam! A rattlesnake under the step that I walked over. I'm just glad it did not strike out. I just stepped over, I heard a rattle, I looked back and saw this guy staring at me, which was a bit scary. So after the rattlesnake incident, I went over to Moonlight Beach and we captured the group doing surf lessons. And these all are looking good. Then I headed over to Encinitas Ranch and got some golf shots of the guys. And here we go. I think that's it. Okay, that's it. We've gone through it. Okay, so now the next step, after I did my fine-tuning in Quick Develop, I'm going to go and reorder these images because the ballpark shots were shot at the same time as the pub crawl, so you saw those images are just kind of, all scattered there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate the two. And the way I'm going to do this is by using the filters. And this filter bar should be on the very top here. If you don't see this bar right now, all you have to do is go up into View here, and then go to the second one down. It says Show Filter Bar. As you see, I clicked it and it disappeared. I'll go back. I'll hit Show Filter Bar, and there you are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Metadata, and I'm going to separate this shoot by the cameras that were shot. So like I said, the second shooter used a Canon. I used a Nikon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just select the Canon. And because I know he did all the baseball shots, I'm just going to take these. I'm going to select all of them. They're selected. Now I'm going to go back into the metadata filter, and then I'm going to select all cameras. Okay. So now it's showing all the images, but highlighting the Canon shot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find where the start of the pub crawl is. And I'm going to put the ballpark images just in front of the pub crawl, which are right here. So I'm just going to go like this. Oh, what just happened? Let's do that again. Right, you see there's multiple images there. Drop it right in front of the pub. Well, let me make sure that's in front of the pub crawl. Yes, I think that's it. You drag up, it should keep scrolling up. Why is it not scrolling up? Okay, I was right. It's down here. Sorry. Right here. So just drop it in front of that picture of the restaurant, and all those images, boom, are in front of that. As you can see, we'll scroll down to the last baseball picture, and it should go straight to the pub crawl. Perfect. So here we are. We've got them all. So now the next step, I click the first image of the whole thing. Then I hit Command A, which will select all the images. Now it's time to rename the images. So in order to rename the images here, you're going to go to Library on your top here menu, and you're going to go all the way down to Rename Photos. So you can also shortcut it by hitting F2. So we go to Rename Photos, and here we are. So in Rename Photos, what I do is I go here, and I use custom name and a sequence number. So you'll have to hit this because yours may not be on that. Go to it's right there, almost in the middle, custom name sequence, and then it allows you to add your custom text, which will be Adidas, and starting number will be number 1. Make sure all the images are selected. It's going to rename them as we reordered them. So here we go. And renamed happened. Adidas 1. Here we go. As you can see, Adidas 1, Adidas 2, 3, etc. Okay, now we've got to this. Now again, with them all selected again, we are going to do our last step, and we're going to export these raw images into JPEGs, which we are going to eventually deliver to our client. So we go down here to Export. All right, so we want to choose the export location that these files are going to. So what I usually do is I put this folder within the folder of RAWs, so I have to navigate to where all my RAWs are, which are here. 2018, let's go to Adidas. And within Adidas, I'll choose this folder, and then right here, if you go down, you can create a subfolder. Check this put in subfolder, and we'll name this subfolder Adidas _print. This is just what I name it. I know what it is, and the reason I put Adidas in the front of the print is for some reason I just have to do a quick search on my hard drive to find it. I know the client's name, and I know it's going to be the client's name and print. So we've done that. Then file naming, we don't have to touch. File settings, quality, usually I put it to an 80, only because JPEG 80, only because my clients will not be doing any kind of retouching to these images. Then for image sizing, what I do is I'll put the resolution at 240. Reason I do this is because many times they don't even go beyond using these images for screen use, like social media or used internally. So 240 is still large enough. And then for pixels, I'll just resize all the images to about 4,000 pixels. And again, depending on what your clients need, this, is basically whatever they need. Metadata, I usually I'll leave all the metadata in the back. We'll take the watermark off. I do not need a watermark for this. And then we go down to the export button and voila, we are preparing to export. And once this is exported, then I'll go to my next step of uploading to their own website. And then I also create a link where they can download all the images. Thank you very much for sitting here and reviewing this with me. I hope you got some helpful hints out of here. And if you saw anything that I could do better, that can make me better, please leave a comment and let me know. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon. Have a great day. Peace.